Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about some budget replacements, budget alternatives to Demonic Tutor, one of the most played cards in Commander, and for obvious reasons. This card is $27. It is a Commander staple. I think last time I checked, even with that $27 price tag, it sees play, well, at a rate that is pretty absurd. I believe it is like the 40th most popular Commander card again, and this is a $27 card. A very simple card, though. A source for 1 and a black. Search your library for a card and put that card in your hand, then shuffle your library. This is obviously a tutor, again called Demonic Tutor. You can go get any card for just 2 mana. That is absurdly efficient, absurdly effective. It is basically any card in your deck that you want plus 2. That's basically it. This is just saying, hey, what situation are you in? What do you need? Do you have a combo that you're working on? Do you need a Wrath? What do you need? I'll go get that for you for an extremely cheap price. Again, just 2 mana. When I say price, I meant, the price of the actual card. Mana value-wise, 1 in a black. Not $27. That is not cheap. Now, on this episode again, I'm going to be going through some budget replacements, budget alternatives to this. Is there any card that is, just a straight-up budget replacement for this? No. I mean, there's a reason why this is a staple, why it's so incredibly expensive, because, yeah, this is just like the top-of-the-line tutor. And there are, some budget cards that do some very similar things, or even the exact same thing. They might not be as efficient, but they can be incredibly effective. And there's other ones out there that are a bit more specific on what they get and can be amazing as well. So yeah, there's a lot of great alternatives to this. So you're not breaking the bank, throwing $27 at one card. Yeah, I'm going to be going through a lot of great cards. I think actually the total price of all the cards I'm going through, there's 34 other cards I'm going to talk about really quickly in this episode. I think the total price of those combined is still less than this, which is absolutely crazy. Every single card in this list is going to be $1 or less. So with all that said, well, let's jump into it after I tell you that you can find the link to these cards in the description below. Now, let's jump into it. Now let's start things off with a section I'm calling any card, because, well, these cards can go tutor for basically any card. And I do say basically because, well, with this first one, there's a bit of a wrinkle to that. Demonic Bargain, source for just 3 mana, so 1 more than Demonic Tutor. Exile the top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. Now, this card, yes, there is some risk to that, where, hey, if you've got a combo piece that you're looking for or whatnot, yeah, you might not want to use this because you might just lose out on that combo piece permanently. That being said, let's say that you maybe need a Wrath. Maybe you're in the situation where, oh, there's a ton of creatures on the board. I've got 5 cards in my deck that can deal with this situation. Chances are pretty likely that you're going to be able to get at least one of those cards out of this. You're not going to lose all 5 off the top 13 in your library. Incredibly unlikely. So again, yes, is it a spin of the wheel? Could you maybe not get the exact card that you want? Yes, but again, when it comes to being efficient, just at 3 mana, yeah, this is actually a very good tutor, and again, just 15 cents. So yeah, if you're okay with a little bit of risk, make sure you're considering this one. Moving on, no risk, Diabolic Tutor, the exact same as Demonic Tutor. Exact same card, word for word, sorcery, search your library for a card, put in your hand, then shuffle your library. The exact same card. It was some really amazing art, actually. But this one does cost 1 in a black more. It still is one of the most played cards in Commander because tutoring is powerful. A lot of players want to tutor, and yeah, even at 4 mana, that's still a great deal for a card. Yes, is Demonic Tutor half as expensive when it comes to the mana? Yes, but when it comes to the actual price, this is like $27 cheaper. So yeah, Diabolic Tutor, a great card, of course, in its own right. Moving on, Mastermind's Acquisition. Just underneath $1.95. Sorcery for 2 black, exact same as Diabolic Tutor, basically. Search life for card, put in your hand, then shuffle. It does say choose one. You can't really choose the other one in Commander because, well, there is technically no outside the game according to the rules committee, so you can't utilize that second part. That being said, this is literally just another copy of Diabolic Tutor, so again, if you want an extra tutor in the deck, make sure you're considering this one. Next up, Coveted Prize. This is a very interesting one. This one is slightly worse in some situations and much better in others, depending on the deck. Sorcerer for 4 and a black, so at 5 mana now. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So if you've got a cleric, a rogue, a warrior, or a wizard, you are going to reduce that cost. And again, if your commander is one of those, not that you can guarantee your commander is going to be in play, but yeah, this can just be basically yet another Diabolic Tutor. Search life for a card, put in your hand, then shuffle your library. If you've got a full party, though, you may cast a spell converting mana cost 4 less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So yeah, I mean, if you've got maybe changelings in your deck, or yeah, if you do have a party deck essentially, cool. You can end up hitting that, paying a single mana for a tutor that can allow you to actually just cast something for free. So yes, again, in some situations worse, in some situations much, much better. Next up though, Final Parting. I love this tutor. I love that it was reprinted. Just 19 cents now. At one point it was definitely over $1. Search for 3 black. Search live for 2 cards. One goes in your hand, the other goes in your graveyard. Then shuffle. This card is massive. This card is huge. Yes, okay, 5 mana. You're only getting 1 card to your hand. That's still, I mean, again, we're going to see other tutors that are somewhat similar to that, so it's still not terrible. Again, 1 more mana than Diabolic Tutor. You're still getting a card. But that being said, there's a lot of decks out there that might have a card that they actually want to put into their graveyard. Whether that's something with flashback, whether it's something with jumpstart, whether that's something that has a benefit it's in your graveyard, maybe like anger or whatnot, or maybe it's just a reanimation strategy where you get a card in your graveyard and then you can actually reanimate it back out. So yeah, again, this has a lot of other applications outside of just, well, tutoring for 2, 1 goes in your hand, 1 goes in the graveyard. A really, really, really good card. Moving on, again at 5 mana, we're starting to see more tutors that actually have some versatility to them, and again, can be better in certain situations. Illicit Shipment, a sorcerer with 3 black, casualty 3. So when you cast it, you can sacrifice creature power 3 or greater. You copy the spell. 3 is a decent amount of power, but still, I mean, 3 is not a ton of power. So if you got a creature you just want to sacrifice, go for it. Search live for a card, put in your hand, then shuffle. And again, if you utilize that casualty 3, you are copying this. So essentially, 5 mana, go get 2 cards directly in your hand. Incredibly efficient. Yeah, you lose out on a creature, but again, there are certain decks that actually want to sacrifice creatures like Riskrat style strategies. Yeah, a crazy good card in the right deck. And again, at a minimum, hey, 5 mana, go get a card. Slightly worse than Diabolic Tutor, but again, it has that upside. Speaking of upside, Increasing Ambition, 83 cent sorcery for 4 and a black, 5 mana, go get a card, put in your hand. But if it's cast from your graveyard, instead, you get 2 cards in your hand, then shuffle. Flashback cost of 8 mana. So in total, if you're casting this, then casting out your graveyard, that is going to be 3 cards you're tutoring for with just a 1 card, essentially. So you are also able to, well, maybe if you got another way to actually get this in your graveyard, maybe Final Parting this into your graveyard so you can cast this again, or if you discard it or whatnot, or you mill it. Sure, just cast out of your graveyard, 8 mana, 2 cards, basically a double Diabolic Tutor. What's not to love about that? Yeah, this can be a great card, especially when it comes to combo. Go get the 2 combo pieces and then win from there. Or again, if you want to set yourself up for a good turn, yeah, okay, maybe I'll Wrath, maybe I'll get another good card and get ready to go. Finally, at 5 mana, we got Razcast Right. Search live for a card, put in your hand, then shuffle your library. Again, for 5, not the most efficient. That being said, there is flexibility to this one, cycling for a single black mana. So, again, if you're already set up, if you already got, a card that you need in your hand, great. Just cycle this away, essentially. Or, yeah, if you're desperate, you don't have the mana to actually cast this, get the card that you need, and then actually cast that, sure, cycle this away, hope to hit something better, and then, yes, take advantage of that. Of course, there's also ways to take advantage of discarding cards, drawing cards, etc., etc. So, yeah, make sure you're considering a great card like this as well. But now let's move on to our next category, which I'm calling specific mana, because I'm not sure if everyone's aware of transmute cards, but they are crazy good for the right decks out there. Yeah, Demir Infiltrator. Yeah, this 1/3 creature is a fantastic tutor for the right deck. It costs blue-black, so 2 mana. It's got transmute for 1 blue and a black, and I guess I should say it's unblockable. If you want to get into play, great, cool, all right. Most of the time, though, you're going to be transmuting it, which means that you pay that cost, you discard it, you search live for a card with the same converted mana cost, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library, only as a sorcery. Now, this is basically an uncounterable tutor. Okay, technically, rules lawyers out there, yes, it can be stifled. How many players out there are utilizing Stifle, though? I mean, some, I'm sure, but typically, this is not going to be countered. This is basically uncounterable. Go get a card that costs 2. And again, you're just paying 3 mana for that tutor. Now, does every deck want this card that can go get something that costs 2? No, there are certain decks out there that be like, yeah, I don't really have anything at 2 that I would want a tutor for. And that's okay, because there's other transmute cards. Now, that being said, if you do want to go with something at 2, you can also use Shred Memory. Cool, instant for 2 mana. Remove up to 4 cards in a graveyard from the game. Cool, or transmute this. So again, that transmute card is going to be specifically 3 mana. Different variations. Again, this one's 1 black, last one was 1 blue, black, but still 3 mana. Discard the card, go get something that costs whatever this costs, essentially. So yeah, this one does have some flexibility to it again. Anti-graveyard synergies. Nice. Cool. Yeah, again, if someone's got a rare deck, you can utilize this against them. Or again, more likely, hey, I got something in my library that costs 2 that I really want. Go get it. 3 mana, Demir Machinations. This is an interesting one. Look at the top 3 cards of target player's library. Move any number of them from the game. With the rest back in any order. Basically, exile the top cards, essentially. Yeah, hey, you're kind of just setting someone's library up for failure, hopefully, and be able to get some bad cards. But more likely, you're just going to transmute this way. Go get something that costs 3. When it comes to, mana values, I'd say typically around, 3-4 is when you're gonna have some flexibility. You can get some removal spells or whatnot, or if you got a combo piece that might be a 3, or if you have a deck built around something very specific, yeah, again, just look for the exact transmute card for the exact mana value. Moving on, Perplex again at 3 mana as well, instant for 1 blue black. This one's pretty good, actually, as just a card. Target spell's controller discards their hand. Yeah, that is a devastating effect. That is essentially, hey, you're not going to do that most time. I mean, if the player only has 1 or 2 cards in their hand, or no hand, of course, that doesn't really do anything, and they can just get rid of that, that's fine. But yeah, if they're at a full grip, and you're like, yeah, I don't like that card that you just cast, let's counter it, they're probably not going to be like, yeah, I'll just ditch 7 cards and be down to nothing. Yeah, so that can be very, very brutal. That being said, again, hey, transmute it away, go tutor for something that costs 3. 4 mana, get Clutch of the Undercity, return target permanent to its owner's hand, they lose 3 life. 4 mana to bounce something and makes them lose 3 life. Yeah, is that overcosted? Yes, but again, it has the flexibility of being a great transmute card. Again, go get something that costs 4. Also, Dimir Houseguard, an incredible card. I love this card, especially for certain strategies like Aristocrat style strategies. 2-3, Skeleton with Fear that costs 3 and a black, so again, 4 mana. Sacrifice a creature, regenerate this creature. This is an incredible sacrifice outlet that protects itself. Again, aristocrat style strategies that take advantage of creatures dying. Yes, an incredible card. And again, it's also just an uncounterable tutor, basically, that go gets anything that costs 4, and 4 is a very good number when it comes to, yeah, I need a Wrath. Let's go get Wrath of God, etc., etc., etc. This can get a lot of great things for you. Moving on to 5 mana, got Brain Spoil. Source for 5 mana. Destroy target creature is enchanted, can't be regenerated. I mean, that's going to get rid of most creatures, essentially. Most aren't enchanted. That being said, again, hey, transmute it away, go get something cost 5. Finally, Netherborn Phalanx. This actually is a pretty funny card, and one that can be a win condition, like a surprising win condition. 2-4 that has enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life for each creature they control. 6 mana in total, transmute it for 3. So again, go get something that costs 6. If you got a specific, really good card, or one that your deck's built around, awesome. Go get that. And this, again, just has a great ETB, and if you've got a way to use and abuse that, great. Or just, hey, if you're playing against your friend's token deck, and they just have an absurd amount of tokens in play, you're going to surprise take them out with a card like this, and they're not going to be expecting that. So again, these transmute cards are fantastic, basically uncounterable, very specific tutors, but ones that can really shine in certain decks. Let's now move on to the next section, though, with specific types, because, yeah, there are certain tutors out there, like Open the Armory, that can go get one of a few things. Open the Armory is a source for 1 and a white, so just 2 mana. Again, same converted mana cost as Demonic Tutor. Search life for an aura equipment card, reveal, put in your hand, and then shuffle. So again, go get whatever aura, go get whatever equipment. Again, if you're running either of those kinds of strategies, this is a crazy good card for you. Low to the ground, great tutor. Moving on. This one's really interesting, Ring Sight, and this can actually, it could have kind of gone to like the any card. I decided to put it down here, but this is just, hey, a source for 1 blue and a black. The ring tempts you. Search life for a card that shares a color with a legendary creature control. Reveal it, put your hand, then shuffle. Again, the ring tempts you, you can make any of your creatures legendary, essentially. So, hey, as long as you've got a creature that has the mana type that essentially you want to tutor for, go do that. And if it's your commander, and I know not all legendary creatures, have the exact, colors, essentially, that, there's their color identity. Still, most of the time, this is basically, if you have your commander in play, go tutor out anything in your deck. The vast majority of anything, okay? Moving on, search for Glory, a snow sorcery, which can be relevant for certain decks. 3 mana in total. Search your library for a snow permanent card, legendary card, or saga. Reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. Gain 1 life for each snow spent to cast it. Cool. If you got a snow deck, great. Go, get whatever snow thing you want. Most likely, though, you're probably going to be utilizing this either in a saga deck or a legendary tribal deck. So, yeah, if you want a legendary, go get it. A great tutor for that. Moving on, a very interesting one that doesn't get cards to your hand, but actually can help you cast them right away. Sunforger, a very strange, really cool card. Equipment for 3. Equip creature gets +4/+0. Equip cost of 3. Pay red and white, unattach it. Go get a red or white instant card, convert mana cost 4 or less. Cast out paying its mana cost and shuffle your library. So again, this can kind of be like a utility box card, then go get like whatever cards you want. Or again, if your deck is built around a specific red or white instant, cool, go get that one. A very interesting card. Next up, Mythos of Brokos. This one's a sorcery for 2 green, so 4 mana in total. If blue blank was spent to cast a spell, search your library for a card, put the card in your graveyard, then shuffle your library, put up the 2 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. So at the least, this is a recursion spell for you, okay? Get 2 permanents back. That being said, if you did spend blue black in this spell's cost, essentially, cool. Go get any permanent out of your deck, get it into your graveyard, then get into your hand with something else. So this is kind of like a tutor one thing, recur one thing spell. So yeah, it can be very, very impactful, especially when decks are built around certain permanents. Moving on, Bring to Light, a very cool card, especially for a 5-color deck. Source for 3, green and a blue. Search your life for a creature, instant sorcery card with mana value less than or equal to the number of colors spent to cast this spell. Exile a card, then shuffle. Make cast card paying its mana cost. So basically, hey, if you spend Wooburg in this, go get any instant sorcery or creature that costs 5 or less and just cast it right away. So again, this can be very specific, very incredible. It doesn't have to be 5 mana, okay? If you've got, again, a creature or, something that you essentially want that's 4 or less, whatever, sure, that's fine. Regardless, a tutor that can get you casting right away, that is pretty crazy. And actually, there's kind of a cheat code with this where, yeah, I mean, if you're running like, let's say, again, a 5-color deck or whatnot, and you have another tutor in the deck, cool, just, cast this for, again, 4 different colors, essentially, or 5, go get your Diabolic Tutor, and then cast that with this. So this can tutor up a tutor, which then cast that tutor, and you tutor for something else, whatever card in your deck you need. So again, there's kind of a cheat code with that. Moving on, Invasion of Arcavios. This one is a Battle Siege for 3 blue, and enters the battlefield, search the library, graveyard, and or outside the game, which you can't do in Commander, for an instant or sorcery card you own, reveal up in your hand, and then if you did that, shuffle. Cool. So basically, a tutor for any instant sorcery, again, either out of your library, or actually in your graveyard too, you can recur that as well. You take down this battle, it flips into Invocation of the Founders, enchant, whenever you cast in sorcery spell from your hand, copy the spell, choose targets to copy, a really good card that essentially can say, hey, let's double things up. So again, a tutor with upside is very nice. Moving on, supply and demand. So actually, there's 2 halves to this card. It's a split card. So sorcery for X green and a white is supply. X sapling. So this can just be a good mana dump to say, hey, let's make an army. Demand is the tutor side of it though. 1 white and a blue. Sorcery, search your life for a multicolored card, reveal it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So again, any multicolored card out of your deck, go get it. Again, if you've got a multicolored tribe deck, cool. If not, you might just have a couple of cards in the deck that you might need to go get anyways. If you've got, some removal maybe that's multicolored, if you've got, certain creatures that might be multicolored, this can usually get you a good amount of things. Now, if you're in, a 3-color Bant deck, which this has to be at least in Bant, chances are that you're at least going to have one thing. If you're in a 5-color deck, maybe even higher chances. So we shall see. Finally, Invert and Vent. Invert, I can't tell you how many times I've actually cast Invert, except in very weird decks. Instant for a blue or a red. Switch the power and toughness of each of the 2 creatures. Cool. Cool. Invent, though, is the side that we care about with this tutor. Instant for 4 blue and a red. Instant speed tutor is very fantastic. Search live for an instant card and or sorcery card, reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. Go get 2 cards at instant speed for 6 mana. Yeah, that's pretty good. So again, if you have a specific instant sorcery that you really want, again, maybe even some combo cards, cool. Go get them with something like this. Finally, though, let's move on to our last category, specific type, Mausoleum Secrets. This one is pretty specific, but again, can be great for certain decks out there. An instant for 1 and a black, search life for a black card with converted mana, cost less than or equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard, reveal, open your hand, then shuffle. This one can be an instant speed Demonic Tutor, essentially. I mean, again, same cost, instant speed. It does require setup, though, and it needs to be in the right deck, though, essentially, because again, if you don't have a lot of black cards you actually want to tutor for, well, okay, what's the point? Or also, hey, if you don't have creatures in your graveyard, then you can't get anything. But if you have maybe a mill strategy, maybe a reanimator strategy, a way to get creatures in your graveyard, cool. This can, again, be just an instant speed Demonic Tutor in the right situation. Moving on, Reckless Handling. This is a really cool card. Source for 1 and a red. Again, same converted mana cost as Demonic Tutor. Search live for an artifact card, reveal, put in your hand, then shuffle. Then discard a card at random. If an artifact card is this card this way, Reckless Handling deals 2 damage to each opponent. So again, specifically for an artifact, there can be a lot of great artifacts to go tutor for. You might lose it, though, or you might lose something else that's very, very important to you. That being said, if you discard an artifact, you at least get to punish your opponents just a little bit. Moving on, Signal the Clans. This one is really, really good. If you are looking for a tutor and you've got a creature-based strategy, this is huge. If you're okay with a little bit of randomness. Instant for I almost said X and a red. Red and a green. No, I said that. Search your library for 3 creature cards, reveal them. If you reveal 3 cards with different names, choose one of them at random, put the card in your hand, shuffle the rest in your library. You're in Commander. Basically, nearly every single creature out there, you can only have one of in your deck. There are certain circumstances with certain ones, like Persistent Petitioners, regardless. Hey, go get 3 creatures, for 2 mana, instant speed. You're getting one of them at random. If you've got, again, a situation where, oh no, I got to get rid of something. Okay, go get like Reclamation Sage, Meteor Golem, and like Acidic Slime, and you're going to be able to get rid of something with one of those creatures. Again, if you've got some redundancy in your deck, you don't really care exactly which one of those creatures you're getting. Cool. I mean, and maybe you want a certain creature or one of the two, and you've got a good, decent chance of the, one of two at least. Still, it's a really good tutor. Again, instant speed, 2 mana, go get a creature. Pretty good. Moving on Cage Menagerie, a little more flexibility to this. Search for X, green. There's the X. Search live for X creature cards with different names. They per mana cost X, reveal them, put in your hand, then shuffle. The more mana you put into this, the more you are getting out of it. You are in green, obviously you can ramp. Yeah, if you put one of that X, cool, go get a single creature for 3 mana. That costs 1. All right. 2, you get 2/2/2s for 4 mana, 3/3/3s. Yeah, this can be really good again by just dumping a lot of mana into that. Moving on, Ecological Appreciation. Sorcery for X, 2 and a green. Search library and graveyard for up to 4 creature cards with different names that each have mana value X or less. Reveal them, and if one chooses 2 of them, 2 go into your library. The rest go on the battlefield. Exile this. So again, this gets them right out on the battlefield. Yeah, it's going to take a decent amount of mana to get some good things, and can your opponent, pick 2 or the others? Sure, but yeah, getting 2 creatures directly out of your library or graveyard, again, recursion, that can be absolutely huge. Moving on. Threats Undetected, a very good card. Source for 2 and a green. Search library to 4 creature cards with different powers, reveal them, and opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle the chosen cards in your library, put the rest in your hand. Yeah, I mean, this is basically, hey, 3 mana, you get 2 cards. And again, creatures with different powers. Yeah, if you got a creature-based strategy, you probably have a lot of different creatures with a lot of different powers, and cool, you can go get 4 of them and say, yeah, I'm probably fine with any 2 that you give me. Yeah, the others get shuffled back, but you're getting 2 for just 3 mana. Next up, speaking of 2, Gerard's Orders. 2 black and a green, kind of like a final parting, but with creatures. Search live for 2 creature cards, reveal and put 1 in your hand, the other in your graveyard, shuffle your library. Again, if you have a certain creature that actually wants to be in your graveyard, like a Reassummoning Skeleton, or, a creature that you can get back out by maybe unearthing it, or maybe you've got a way to recur it, or maybe you've got an effect when it's in your graveyard. Yeah, this can be a great card for you. If not, it's just, hey, 4 mana, go tutor for a creature and get it in your hand. Cool. Awesome. I mean, again, if you just literally need a creature-based strategy, this is nearly just as good as a diabolic tutor. Moving on, Mystical Teachings. Instant for 3 and a blue. Instant speed tutor. Search live for an instant card or card with flash, reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. Flashback for 5 and a black. So again, if you got a flash deck, cool. More likely though, you're going to search for an instant. And again, you can flash this back so you can get another instant. And this can be an absolutely massive card for you. Finally, Plea for Guidance, a fantastic card. Search for 5 and a white. Search library for 2 enchantment cards, reveal them in your hand, then shuffle your library. If you've got an Enchantress deck, this card can be massive. If you've got a deck built around specific enchantments, maybe some combos, absolutely huge as well. So again, with these budget alternatives episodes, is there a direct replacement for Demonic Tutor? No. I mean, if there was, it would also be incredibly expensive. And yes, there are other very expensive tutors as well. This is just one of the most popular ones in Commander for a reason. Again, $27. That's quite steep. 2 mana, go get any card. That's incredible. Now, that being said, again, there are some alternatives that in certain situations can be even better. Again, those transmute ones. Hey, if you just want to go get something that costs an exact amount from your deck, great. It's like an uncounterable tutor in certain ways. Or again, ones that actually cast the card like Bring to Light. And yes, again, Diabolic Tutor, which is just this card twice, as expensive essentially mana value wise, is still incredibly popular for a reason. There's a lot of great tutors out there. I hope that you found some that you enjoyed from this episode and something that can help you out.
And with that, today's episode is coming to a close, so let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.